do your scoping review, meta-analysis, and all kind of reviews. So you just head on to the tab here and you click on it. So once you click on it, so these are the reviews that I've done using this AI to do systematic review. And I can tell you, ordinarily a systematic review would take up to well, if you are using the conventional approach, I'm sure for 3 months, 4 to 6 months, you are still on it. But if you use this AI, I'm certain you complete your work within 1 week if you want to. So yeah, again, I want to create a new review. I want to do a new review. So what I'll do is just to head on to the new review. So I'll click it, then paste the name. Now, I already have a name. So Dr. Abayomi, please, this title I want to paste here is something I want us to work on. So I'm going to paste it here.
Okay, sir.
So and then create, yes, sir, and then create review. So I've created it. So what's the title that I'm working with? Risk factors and epidemiological determinants of Lassa fever infection in West Africa. So a systematic review and then meta-analysis. So yeah, this is the first section in the evidence synthesis. So like you see, you have the protocol, search strategy, screening, data extraction, meta-analysis, risk of bias, grade, and then manuscript. This way you turn everything into manuscripts. Now, because it's an AI, does not mean we should have something you just type in, help me to do a systematic review and then of this title, and then it will just generate. No journal will publish such. They still want to see the rigor. They still want to see the process. One of the feature of a good research is that it's reproducible. So this AI has a log that even when you are submitting your manuscripts, you download the log to attach to show to the reviewers that yes, you actually did a thorough work. So the first thing here is to build your protocol. Without building protocol, without submitting protocol for approval on Prospero, it's not advisable to go ahead with your review. So what do I do is, let me paste the review title here. Okay. So after pasting it here, you can tell the AI to help you write up the remaining section. So the fact that AI writes it for you does not mean you should not review. You should still review. So I'm going to click AI autofill. So AI is based on my topic. AI is now going to fill up every other section. If you are familiar with Prospero registration, you would see that these are the sections that you need to fill when you are submitting a registration for systematic review and meta-analysis. Yeah, so all these are needed in your protocol. Now, let's go through it one after the other. So the title is intact. We actually did that. Now, the PICO framework. PICO, it talks about the population, the intervention, the comparator, and then outcome, right? So, and all of this will be guided by what we are working on, the objective. So, which population are we looking at? So here we are talking about epidemiological determinants of Lassa fever. So Lassa fever, we were looking at it among human population. So, and then we are now focusing on where? On West African sub-region. So this includes Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Guinea, and then Benin. So these are the population that this study is looking at. Now, intervention. Are we talking about intervention? Remember what we are just doing here is to assess risk factors and then the determinant. So here it's saying exposure to potential epidemiological determinants and risk factors, e.g. contact with Sorry, please help me, Dr. Larimwe. Me, I'm not. Anyways,
Where is that, sir?
so the intervention, the mastomize and the natalensis something. What's that, please? So I'm sure it's one of the bugs for Lassa fever. Anyways, we move. So the consumption of rodent contaminated food, uh, healthcare related exposure. Uh, so because this is a systematic review, we don't need an intervention here. Reason is because we are looking at cross-sectional study. So we are just assessing risk factors and determinants. So for me, I would just like to put not applicable here because um, I'm not doing any uh, I'm not reviewing intervention study. So comparator individual without the identify risk for exposure or with low exposure. Well, that would be expected. So there will be the exposed group and the so well. Then, so this one is very important to all systematic review, whether you are reviewing intervention study or cross-sectional study. This is very, very important. This outcome is like the variables that you'll be analyzing in meta-analysis. So the first one here is the seroprevalence of Lassa virus antibodies. So is the IgG and the IgM will be fetching here that will be extracting from those published papers. The other one is the incidence of laboratory confirmed Lassa fever infection. So yes, that's good. Case fatality rates associated with specific risk factors, yes. So then we are going to look at odds ratios. Remember that what we are doing is we are looking at risk factors and determinants. So usually, statistically, we get those risk factors when we fit a multivariate regression. So an odds ratio is very common for um, papers that are published or using logistic regression. So yeah, odds ratio for zoonotic versus the nosocomial transmission route. So zoonotic is among um, you know, animals and the likes, and nosocomial is from the hospital. That's hospital acquired infection. So yes, we'll be looking at that. So for me, I think this will also be good for a kind of subgroup analysis. So now the design we are looking at, so look at this case control. So I'm going to exclude case control and I'm going to exclude cohorts. Let's just review cross-sectional studies only because we're talking about the uh, risk factors and determinants here. Now, what am I looking at? Which effect measures am I looking at? So I'm going to do odds ratio because we're also talking about incidents of laboratory confirmed cases and things like that. Depending on the papers published, we're going to leave the risk ratio. I'm sure during analysis, we may have a reason to exclude it. Then for IgG and IgM, so we may need to come back to this. IgG, I can't remember what the value looks like, whether it's a binary output or it's a count, depending on what we are getting from the manuscript. So then these are the subgroup, which they are very important. The first one is the geographical location. So we're talking about study that we want to do in West Africa, meaning that it's going to be an heterogeneous population. So we need to do subgroup analysis so that we are able to stratify our data by those subgroups. So the first one is the geographic location. So we want to look at the areas that are endemic and areas that are not endemic. Then we also want to look at the transmission settings. Is it in the community or is it in healthcare, the nosocomial infection? Then we also look to do stratification, subgroup analysis by age groups. This is very good. And then time period of study. So I'm going to exclude this. Remember, we are not including an intervention study. I will delete this. But there is one I saw here that I said it would be nice to. Okay, yes, this one is there already. Hospital versus care acquired infection. So, well, that's good. So, the Newcastle Ottawa scale is good for observational study. Yes. And the other one we can use is probastive. We'll be assessing the performance of the metrics of those models. But let's use Newcastle Ottawa scale here. So you can see that the AI did a very good job. I'm just doing very slight editing. So yeah, this is the objective, which is to systematically identify, evaluate, and synthesize evidence regarding the social, demographic, environmental, and behavioral risk factors associated with Lassa fever infection. So this specific enough. So environmental, and then this thing has gone into, or maybe I should just put epidemiological. Let me also add that epidemiological. Yeah. So those are the risk factors that we want to use. Now, the eligibility criteria, this one too is very important. What am I including in this paper? Am I including peer review, observational study, reporting risk? So that's one. The second one is studies providing sufficient data to calculate effect size prevalence. This one also is good, but I'm going to exclude French, except if we have someone who can help us to review those French papers. But for me, I want us to stay with English alone. So the exclusion criteria, which papers am I going to remove if I find them? That's what exclusion is. Basically, inclusion is, sorry, I've been assuming that my audience understand, this eligibility criteria. So inclusion criteria is what are the criteria I'll be using to include papers in my analysis. So the exclusion is, okay, after including all papers I want to include based on this criteria, are there some of them I'm still going to exclude? Yes. So case reports or case series. You agree with me that case report or case series, they usually provide a bias estimate. The reason is because they have a very small sample size. In fact, case reports may be just some event that maybe a doctor noticed among just one patient and he decided to report it and publish it. So that one will not give us a good estimate. It's going to be skewed. So the case series also, they are just also with a small sample size. You can see, yeah, it's even mentioned the sample size less than 10. So ecological studies without individual level data, yes, we're going to exclude that. Studies focusing solely on animal reservoir. So animal reservoir, we are focusing on human being here. Remember the population for this study. So this is the population. So we are focusing on human, even though Lassa fever is known to be transmitted by, the bug is known to be carried around by, I think, rats also. So, but then we are targeting human population here. So if the study is just focusing on animal, we are not going to include them in the study, in this particular study. Then other one is gray literature, such as non-peer reviewed conference abstract, things like that. So because all these kind of papers, the non-peer reviewed and conference abstracts, they don't have the benefit of peer review. So we want to exclude them. So where will I be getting information from? The databases. So the first one is PubMed. So PubMed is the same thing as Medline. So that's why he's saying PubMed or Medline. So Embase, Web of Science, African Journal of Online. In fact, this one is very important. Remember, we are focusing on West African population. So then the Global Health, that's CABI, and then the World Health Organization Lassa fever dashboard. We are going to be extracting data from them. So risk of bias. Sorry, I'm taking my time to go through all of this. Once we get it wrong here, then it's going to be wrong all through. So that's why I decided to take my time. So the synthesis method. So how am I going to do my okay, sorry, I've not talked about the risk of bias. Let me talk about that. So the two independent reviewers will assess the risk of bias using the Newcastle Ottawa scale for non-randomized study, focusing on selection of study groups, comparability of groups, and ascertainment of exposure and then outcome. Then discrepancy will be resolved through third-party uh, adjudication. So this is that there is chances of bias when you are doing systematic review. Remember, all these papers are published using different data. Some will focus just on participants from the hospital. Some will focus on participants from the community. If you now put that kind of estimate together, it's not going to make any sense. So we're going to be assessing this. We'll have different reviewers looking at this. And then how do we want to synthesize the method? So the quantitative synthesis will be performed using the random effects meta-analysis model to due to expected clinical and methodological heterogeneity. So we're now going to do heterogeneity assessment using the I-square statistics and the Cochrane Q. Then for don't bother yourself with all these big terms. The AI is there to help. So for categorical risk factors, we're going to do pooled odds ratio and using the 95% confidence interval. So, and then we present we also assess the presence of publication bias using the funnel and Eggers regression test if at least 10 studies are included per outcome. So we have reviewed, all of these are good. So I'll just go ahead and save this. So I've saved this protocol. So for me to go ahead and continue this work, I'm going to lock it. Now, I've locked it. So if I didn't lock it, I can't move on. But I need to mention this. The approach to systematic review and meta-analysis is that you first go to Prospero and register that, oh, I want to do this systematic review. This is the title. So this is this protocol you are going to download. All these things you fill there, you are going to fill in the Prospero registration platform. So they give you approval. The reason for doing that is that anyone anywhere can also do review. So if you want to publish it, they will request for the approval you got from Prospero. So if you don't have a Prospero approval, then they will not publish it. The reason is they don't want duplicated effort. So if Dr. Olarimoye is working on this title somewhere, and let's say Nora is also working on this title somewhere, and they don't know. So both of them would think, oh, they've done a novel work and they want to publish. So it's at the point of publication they will now realize that, oh, this person published the same thing that this person published. So that's why Prospero is there to guide. So if you submit for approval, they will tell you whether this topic has been registered. In fact, it's at the point of registration, they will keep showing you similar, registered projects that are similar to your own. You now review them. If there is anything in your own that they did not do, that will be your own strength and the narration to justify why you have to do this study. So after getting your approval from Prospero, then you would come to the search strategy. So this strategy is basically now you have a protocol. You now want to develop a strategy that you will use to find the papers that were published on this title you want to review. So basically what you will need to fill in that section is this source of, where is that section now? Yes, information sources. So we have to create a search strategy for all these database that we have mentioned here. So I'll come here. The first one is PubMed, Medline. So PubMed or Medline. So I'll select that and I'll say generate. So it's going to create search terms for me. So it's a search terms that the AI will now use to find those papers. So look at it. Yeah. So this is search term it's going to use. Now, am I approving it or removing it? I'm going to approve it. Why? Because it already contains the strings for the topic I want to work on. Look at it. Lassa virus, Lassa fever, different names that different authors can, call those papers. And then it's also going to include Africa, West Africa, or Benin. We have mentioned some countries, so it's going to include everything. So this search term will help you to identify all papers that are published around this paper from PubMed. So I'll click approve. I've approved that. The next one is which other? Let me go back. Let me formation source. So I'm doing M-based Web of Science African journal. So I'll come here. I want to do M-based now. M-based is the second one. Then I'll click generate. So in short, so this is it, pending review. Have I looked at it? So these are the mesh term, Lassa fever, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm going to look at it. Once it's okay, I approve. Then I'll do that for all the sources I have mentioned in my protocol that I want to review. So look at it, all of them. So once I'm done with that, uh, the next thing is okay, so I now have two databases I want to search from. So the next thing is to now do, so this is where AI helps. Normally, you're supposed to go and be finding, if you go to PubMed, you paste, for Embase, you paste this on their search box and you use it to search. For PubMed, you use this one too and you download all the papers. Once you download them, you can now start, extracting your data for analysis. So that's what we do conventionally, but the AI is here to help us. So let's do the search and import. So it's now going to go through those databases that we have mentioned and begin to search for these titles, all the abstracts published around this title in these databases we mentioned there. Is going to search them and then, import their title and abstracts for us. So it's loading. Let's allow this to, it is going through two databases at the same time. So it's a lot of iteration going on there. Okay, yeah, so it's done. Look at it. So this search that just happened now found 686 papers. Can you, I don't know, please, are you following me? Let me be sure that I'm not speaking to myself. I can
That
just
is
drop it, not just.
awesome.
All right, great. So now we have 686 papers to review. Normally, we're supposed to go, and remember, we only did for two databases, so there are more. So by the time we create search terms for the remaining databases, and it's going to be more than this. So one thing you want to do is that it is possible that you have some papers in PubMed, Embase, and the likes. They are like libraries. So, and it's possible that you have a book in a library and you have in another library. So, in the same way, it's possible that your paper is in Embase and is also in Medline or PubMed. So it's possible that there are duplicates here. So you just go ahead and do the duplicate. Once you click that, it's going to screen all the title. If there are any duplicates there, it's going to look at it. So this one found two duplicates and it has removed them from the uh, uh, what's it called, from the papers. So we now have 684 left for review. Now, because the rigor required for systematic review and meta-analysis is that it's not only one person job. You need to download a log file showing that this person did this, that person did that when you want to publish for them to accept it. So let me save this. So you need to share, if I'm the one who created this now, I need to share the project with others so that they can also have access to it. So what am I going to do? I'm just going to come to share. So I'll come to share here and then put the, please can someone give me his email, whether registered on Consage or not? So please give me your email. Let me put it in. I want to invite you. Okay. Huh? Okay. Name and surname. Is it dot or just, sorry? Can you see my screen? So is this correct? Is it correct? All right. So I'm going to, so what am I sharing with you as? Is it as admin or editor or just to view? So, for if you are working with some professors who are not really going to be part of the work, they just want to see what you are doing, you give them viewer access. So for editor, for those who will do the work together with you, you give them editorial access. So I'm going to give you editor access. So uh, I'll share. So if you check your mail, you receive an invitation to join this. It's showing that you've not accepted it. So once you get the invitation, you click on it to join. So as soon as you join, you also have access to what we're doing here. So now you can use AI screening. So it's going to screen and exclude or include. But then my recommendation is that because of the ways papers are published and because of the way journals have different instructions, so it will be good to do review. Like even if you use AI to review, you said look at it, it will not. If I'm reviewing this title and abstract, it's going to take me more than maximum 1 hour. I'll finish that. So, but what am I saying here is that, for instance, some journals, they will allow you to use HTN for hypertension. But some journal will tell you if you have to use HTN, you have to write the meaning of abbreviation. Or your first use of hypertension, you write it in full and you put bracket HTN. So because of that, if I tell AI to screen, if AI see HTN, right, it's going to call it HTN. And if it sees hypertension, it will call it hypertension. It won't see them as the same thing. Why? Because in some papers, they were well defined as hypertension. In some, they were not defined as hypertension. So by the time you are now analyzing, you now see HTN separately, numbers for HCL separately, and numbers for hypertension separately. For instance, you are presenting a chart now or a table. You are now seeing HTN to 20%, hypertension 30%. They will just tell you what's the difference between HTN. So that's why we should look at it by ourselves. And then, so if I want to look at this one now, I can just come to view. In view here, I will see the abstract. With Nature Review. So these are very big journal. So what am I looking out for here? Basically, what I'm looking out for is the information I want to use for my analysis. Is it here? And what are those information? Is the same one we call, let me save what I've done. They are the ones we call outcome in our um, protocol. So these are the outcome. So the question I will be asking those abstracts is that do they report any of this? If they don't, I'm going to exclude them because I won't be able to analyze. You get that? So I'm going to have this in one side, and then so quickly let me copy them. So I'm going to review just one on this call. Then we can now fix a different meeting to review others and get it published. So this is the second one, and this is called outcome. Now, and then I think something I also supposed to mention when you are reviewing the abstract is that your eligibility criteria. Normally, you should expect that the papers that do not meet your eligibility criteria, they are not part of the papers that were imported for you. But then you should still check again because it was AI that did it. Even if it's human, you still check again. So all the process we are doing here is we generate into a chart that we call PRISMA flow chart. So we'll see it towards the end. As soon as we complete the work, it will allow us to generate PRISMA flowchart and export it. So remember, we are focusing on observational studies and they must report certain things. Once it's case study or something, we are excluding it. So let me go back to the screening now. So I want to review this one. I want to determine whether I will exclude it or not. So quickly, Lassa virus, blah, blah, blah. Then population, okay, yes, they are from the population of interest, spillover human, blah, blah. Remember the structure of abstract, it will come with the introduction and or the objective, then the methods, and then results. So, but if you look at this now, more frequent outbreak, the potential for further geographical expansion. Okay, so these are the keywords that we put in our, so that's why it's fetching them. But if you look at this closely, finally results, although promising candidates are being evaluated as yet, there are no approved vaccines or therapeutic for human use. This review, so it's a review paper, no numbers for us to extract. So we're going to exclude it. So do you get now? So that's based on our exclusion criteria, we're going to exclude that one straight. So what's the reason for excluding it? What's that? Intervention comparator, wrong outcome, no. Wrong study design. So it's a wrong study design. Yeah. So the next one is this. Then we'll do the same thing. So look at this one reported some numbers, but well, we don't know. They may probably report numbers in the full text, but we need to be sure of the methods used here before we can even include them. So the population, yes, is fine as well. It's in West Africa. And then, okay, so let's look at the intention of this review. This is also a review. So by study design, this one is not eligible. So we exclude it. So that's what we're going to do for all the. So once we have done that, for instance, if I'm including this one now, so it will now allow me to go and fetch the full text, the full paper. So yes, AI can fetch the full paper for us. But then remember that there are some papers that are not free online. So we need to go and look for them and upload the ones here. So out of this 600, it's possible that maybe it's only 10 or 20 that will meet the criteria. So we have to, let me take this back and then save the progress. So once we review everything now, you come to data extraction. Okay, sorry. saved here. Then because I need the ones I've reviewed, I need them to appear in the data extraction. Okay. So I just have to include one. Apologies, because it's the one that you include that we show that the data will now be imported to your. So I will include this. I'm not saying it's right. I just, for the purpose of this um, discussion, so I've included them. You can see I included the title and abstract, and I've also included the full text decision. So then, if you scroll down, you will see that the two, uh, save, the two records that I've included, yeah, they are showing here. Look at it. They are showing here. So you can just click on the Open DOI to look for the paper. So this is the paper. I hope you are still seeing my screen. So this is the paper. And I think it's not a free one. No. So you have to go and so this is what I'm saying. Because it's not free, our AI cannot automatically download it because you have to make payment to the site, to the owner, before you can, download this. Okay, this Professor Happy's Zabetti's work. Okay, so um, where we always have a way around this to download it without paying. So once we get them, we upload them here. So let me just pick one paper. This is not the correct paper. I'm just, just uploading that to show how it works. So once you upload it here, you can view it here. So look at it. So this is the paper I uploaded. You can view it here. So now, after the upload, you save your progress, and then you go to data extraction. So you can see the two studies that I included. The one that I added PDF is showing. The one that I did not add PDF is not showing PDF. So the next thing is to now say, okay, extract the data for me. Extract data for me. That's what we now need for analysis. So data from the two have been extracted. Just two outcomes were found in them. Let us open to see the outcome that were. So follow up, not applicable. Yes, we don't need that. Yes, event, intervention, total. Oh, sorry. I mistakenly total something. So you look at it. So these are the information that we need for our own analysis. The odds ratio is presented here, 3.42. Then the p-value is presented here. So these are the information we need to do analysis. So if you do any edits, maybe you notice that maybe there are additional ones you like to add, you put it. And then the same thing for this now too, you review it. So once you have done that, you just save. So after saving it here, automatically those information, they are ready in your meta-analysis engine for analysis. So you just come here, look at it. These are the two outcomes that we found, the odds ratio and the zero prevalence. So I'll click the odds ratio first. So when you are using odds ratio, in the kind of analysis we are expected to do is this OR, is a OR. Then you click that, and then yes, we use random effects. Okay, I can also leave on this to handle heterogeneity. Am I doing a subgroup analysis? Yes. Remember, we have just two studies, so I don't expect the results to come out that, wow. For the heterogeneity is even 0.0. So yes, this is a Forex plot. This is subgroup analysis. This is study weight. These are the in the metrics, the statistics that you need to report in your. So I'm going to save this. So I've saved it and it's now in the saved tab. So you can go back, do another one, or if you still want to keep viewing that one, doing anything on it, you click on it in the save button. So these are the information that you need to answer all the so this is the publication bias chart. So all of these you export them and the manuscript section too will write them up for you, but they will export them as table and the likes for reporting. So this is sensitivity result, and then again AI can interpret. So we have this AI interpretation here. This will guide you whether your results you are getting make sense and is going to give you an advice. If it's not making sense, what should you do? Oh, okay. So it failed, I guess, because of this small sample size, right? So that's what we do. After that, you can now move on to the risk of bias. So this risk of bias, these the authors that we look at it. That, okay, when I read the first paper, their randomization process doesn't make sense, as in the choice of how they selected the participant included in this study. Well, if I look at it and say, okay, that paper for Clinton 2023 et al., there is low risk. They did a good job in randomization. I'll put it. So if I have concern, I'll put it. All of these, they are to document the rigorous work that you did. You know that systematic review and meta-analysis in terms of hierarchy of evidence is the highest. So any information you present from systematic review is way, way, way higher than original research. So that's why then you need to present all these results must be submitted for them to even review and approve your manuscript. So deviation from intended intervention, did they deviate? Some concern or no concern, low risk. So the same thing, how did they handle their missing outcome data? Or do you feel that they did some did some ojoro kabu kabu? Then you you indicate that. So once you've done that, you do an overall judgment and you save. So save this. Then the next thing is to now grade risk of bias. Any concern? No concern. So you fill in everything based on your perception from reading the papers. You are not accessing your own paper, remember, so you should do a good assessment. These are published papers. So once you do that, you save, then you come to manuscript. So this is the final, this is where everything happens. So, well, you've done a good job. You now want to write them up. These are the things you need to present in your manuscript. So they are all there. You write, you download. So this is the PRISMA flowcharts that I told you about. So this one is generated automatically as you are doing your, as you are, filling all these steps, you are doing your work. It will automatically populate. You can see it's showing those two studies that we selected, we included. So, and then the study this table of characteristics, you also need to export this one too in your to present it in your manuscript. Then the audit trail. So this is the audit trail I told you about. This you have to show to you download it when you are submitting a systematic review and meta-analysis manuscript. They will always ask you to maybe is either provide additional documents to show the how you preserved the scientific method and everything. So this is the kind of document you are going to submit. Then the metadata. So this one is in the Sage language. So yeah, that's what it is. You can export it and put everything in your submission. So back to writing. The title is there. So if you click AI generate, it's basically going to give you the title that you have stated. So look at it. Then there's a fingerprint tracking everything you did. Then you come to abstracts. Write an abstract for me. Remember, I've specified I'm writing in Vancouver number style, or you can do Harper, depending on which style you are working with. So usually most journal will tell you that your abstract should not be more than certain number. So the most common one is around 300. So write for me is going to write, oh, so that I don't have enough credit to, what's happening? Ah, okay. Yeah, good. Okay, so look at it. This is the abstract, like the summary of everything. The data collection, two independent reviewer extracted data and assess the blah, 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 everything. So again, the introduction, you can put the word count to, right? The method, you do that, right? Method, this 1.5, this too much. Let me say 500. So write this too. So I'm going to do that for the results section. Let's say I just want 1,000 word count. This one too. I'll do the same. Then my discussion. Now, so another thing to note is that the training you gave your personalized AI is guiding the write-up here too. It's going to use this format and the style of your writing that you have trained the personalized AI. So this guy here is employing the personalized AI model to work here. So yeah, so this is discussion. So you agree with me? This is how a good discussion should be sectioned. You first talk about the overall summary, and then you talk about the summary of findings. Then you talk about you now start comparing your study to the different study, what Keating et al. Found, what that and that found, and you start this for meta-analysis. uh, okay, no, sorry. So this is where you report each findings from, findings from each of the people, and here is where you compare the findings, and that then you move on to conclusion. How many words? I'm doing 300 words, and then so the conclusion is here, and then the references generate all the references for me. Uh, I have, so remember, I reviewed just two papers. I included just two papers. So, and it's giving me just the two papers here. So, yes, the other thing you can do here is after everything, you can humanize. This is to ensure that your writing style is not looking like robots. But then if you have trained your personalized AI well, it's not going to look like robots because it's basically going to write like you. So what next is to export everything, export all outputs. So it's going to export everything for you. Then you can download your uh, okay, so this is meta data. So you can open it and then you yeah. So they say, okay, it's great. So you can then open it and then you write up you already have your write up, just send to all authors to review. And after review, you submit your work. So I'll come to the end of, again, sorry, I think I missed this out. You turn on the personalized AI and the AI detector pass when writing this one. So that helps you to ensure that your trained AI is working here. Yeah, thank you. I missed that previously. So that will be the end. So let me save now. Uh, and then we can now ask questions or clarification as you may have. Thank you.